This video lesson is on plate tectonics. It goes with text 6.10c and d. At the end of this unit, you will be able to identify the major tectonic plates by their current locations on a map. You will also be able to describe the three types of plate boundaries and the geological events that their movement causes. Throughout this video, you will be completing activities on your video WISC handout. Please make sure that you have that with you now. The first thing we're going to do is fill out our anticipation guide. You are going to circle agree or disagree for each statement in the before watching column on your WISC handout. Please press pause and do that now. In the previous weeks, we've been talking about the three main layers of Earth, which are the crust, the mantle, and the core. The core is made up of the inner core and the outer core. The first thing we're going to talk about is the crust and how it is divided into six main lithospheric plates. The six main plates are the Eurasian plate, the North American plate, the African plate, the Indo-Australian plate, the Pacific plate, and the South American plate. Although there are many others, these are the six main lithospheric plates. Now we're going to be working on different models. You will need your video WISC handout, and what I would like you to do first is to sketch this picture into the space provided. This is a hard-boiled egg, so please press pause and sketch this into the page right now, please. Now that you have sketched out the picture, I want you to label what part of the egg represents the crust, the mantle, and the inner and outer core. Please press pause and do that now. The crust is the outer shell of the egg. The mantle is represented by the white part of the egg. The outer core is the darker yellow on the very edge, while the inner core is the middle of our yolk. If you do not have these labeled correctly on your handout, please press pause and take a minute to fix your model. Now we're looking at a hard-boiled egg that has been cracked. I used a black Sharpie to draw over all the cracks in the egg so that you could see them. In this picture, I actually peeled off a couple of those pieces that had cracked so that you could see that. I want you to press pause and sketch this onto your handout now, please. Now that you have we used an egg for the layers of the Earth model, and we also have used the hard-boiled egg as the lithospheric plates. On your handout, I want you to give an advantage of both models and a disadvantage or limitations of both models. Press pause and do this now. The lithospheric plates float on top of the asthenosphere. The plates slide on the asthenosphere as it moves due to the plasticity of the mantle. The arrows on the map indicate the relative positions of the plates. Convection currents in the mantle provide the motion for the plates to move. The plates move in three ways. They move apart, they move towards each other, and they slide past each other. Convergent plates are plates that move towards each other. In the first picture, we have an oceanic plate moving towards or a continental plate. The oceanic lithosphere is subducted beneath a continental plate, forming trenches. Subducted is shown here where it actually moves underneath. As the lower plate is pushed under, down into the asthenosphere, it eventually begins to melt. The magma is less dense and it moves upward, which creates volcanic mountain ranges. The oceanic crust subducts under the continental crust because it is more dense. Another type of convergent plate is when you have a continental plate moving towards another continental plate. The conversion of two continental plates cannot be subducted because they have the same density. So this is where they buckle up and you see mountain ranges form. So convergent plates can create trenches, volcanic activity, or mountain ranges. Another type of movement is the moving away, which is called divergent plates. These two plates are moving away from each other. New oceanic crust forms where two plates are pulling away from each other. So the magma is oozing from the cracks and it hardens to form new crust. Over time, the lava builds up when it reaches the surface and creates underwater mountain ranges. These are called mid-ocean ridges. So divergent plates create mid-ocean ridges. Transform boundaries are when two plates slide past each other. This is called a transform boundary. An example would be where the Pacific and North American plates meet at the San Andreas Fault. A fault is a break in the Earth's crust caused by stresses related to plate movements. A shearing motion at a fault often causes earthquakes. Neither plate is destroyed in this sideways motion. So we often see faults and earthquakes happening at transform boundaries. The next activity on your handout will be answering some questions about this map. You may pause the video and use this map to help you answer those questions, or as I read each question, you can pause it and answer each question as I read it. The first question is to describe the movement where the South American plate meets the African plate. So the South American plate is here, the African plate is here, and I want you to describe what kind of movement you will see right here. Press pause and answer this now. The second question is what type of geological event would occur between these two plates? So between the South American plate and the African plate, what geological event that we've already discussed would be happening or could happen at this boundary? Press pause and answer now. The third question, the Pacific plate is an oceanic plate, and because the world is round, you can see it on both sides of this map. The boundary between the Pacific plate and which plate would earthquakes commonly take place? So look along the boundaries and which plate forms the type of boundary where we would commonly see earthquakes taking place. Press pause and answer now. Number 4. Between which two plates would you find mountains? Press pause and answer now. Number 5. Would you find mountains, mid-ocean ridges, or volcanoes between the North American and Eurasian plate? Please explain your answer. So here's the North American plate, and here's the Eurasian plate. Also, since the world is round, we can also look at the type of boundary that is on this side of the Eurasian plate, because that is also the North American plate. So what type of geological event would you find? Mountains, mid-ocean ridges, or volcanoes? Press pause and answer now. Now I would like you to go back to the anticipation guide and circle agree or disagree for each statement in the after watching column. Your answers may change depending on what you've learned during this video and what you already knew when we started. Then I want you to complete the odd one out activity on your whisk and explain each answer in complete sentences. You are giving 4 vocabulary words from this video, and one of them does not belong with the other 3. Circle the one that does not belong and explain why you chose that answer. Then at the bottom of your whisk, you have a link to go to a Google Doc where you will submit your 5 to 7 sentence summary on the content of this video and submit a question that you may have. When you are completely done, please make sure that you turn in your whisk. Thank you.